I opened my eyes to lavender wallpaper and the smell of vanilla candles. My childhood bedroom, untouched since I was 16. But I wasn't 16. I was 32, dying in a hospital corridor, the morphine failing to dull the agony of stage 4 cancer eating through my bones. I was alone. Always alone. Except now I'm staring at hands that aren't skeletal. Smooth skin. No IV bruises. No trembling. My heart pounds. I sit up and the world doesn't spin with nausea. My reflection in the vanity mirror across the room shows a face I haven't seen in 16 years. Round cheeks, clear eyes, dark hair that hasn't started falling out yet. The date on my phone reads September 14th, my 16th birthday. The day everything began to unravel. But I remember everything. I remember 17 more years of invisible existence, of watching Mum stroke Victoria's hair while barely glancing at my report cards, of Dad's eyes lighting up when Victoria walked into a room, the same eyes that slid past me like I was furniture. I remember Christmas mornings where Victoria opened 37 presents, while I got 7. We didn't want to spoil you, Helena. I remember dying alone in a hospital hallway because they were at Victoria's engagement party. Too busy, too important. We'll come tomorrow, sweetheart. Tomorrow never came. The girl who died begging for their love, who starved for a kind word, who dimmed herself hoping they'd finally see her. That Helena is dead. She died in that corridor. I'm someone else now. My hands shake as I grip the edge of my desk. The trembling isn't fear. It's rage crystallizing into clarity. Every humiliation floods back with perfect, poisonous precision. Victoria's sweet smile as she accidentally spilled juice on my college acceptance letter. Mum's sigh when I asked for help with homework. Can't you see I'm busy with Victoria's recital? Dad missing my high school graduation because Victoria had a dentist appointment. The specific memory that cuts deepest surfaces now, my 14th birthday. I'd saved for months to buy ingredients for a cake, hoping to surprise them. To maybe, just maybe, create one moment where I mattered. I baked it myself, decorated it with shaking hands, set it on the kitchen table with candles ready. They never came home. Victoria had decided she wanted to see a movie, and they took her, just forgot. When they returned at midnight, the candles had melted into wax pools, and I was in my room, door locked, face swollen from crying. Mum had laughed when she saw the cake the next morning. "Oh, Helena, you should have reminded us." As if it was my responsibility to remind them I existed. The memories don't hurt anymore, they're fuel. I stand, and my reflection stands with me. 16, healthy, armed with 17 years of knowledge they threw away. I know which investments will boom, which companies will collapse. I know every dirty secret in their precious social circle, every alliance that will shatter, every betrayal coming down the pipeline. I know that Dad's business partner, Thomas, is embezzling funds. It won't be discovered for another 3 years in the original timeline, but I can accelerate that. I know that Mum's best friend, Patricia, is having an affair with the country club president, a scandal that will rock their social circle when it breaks next year. I know that Victoria's seemingly perfect facade is built on lies, plagiarism, and manipulated narratives. But more than that, I know exactly what they fear. Being exposed, being ordinary, being forgotten. My chest expands with each breath, and something fundamental shifts inside me. The desperate, pleading child who lived in this room is gone. In her place stands someone who knows their weaknesses, their pride, their pathetic need for social validation. Someone who will use every single weakness against them. The door opens. Mum doesn't knock. She never did for me. "Helena, Victoria needs your blue cardigan for her date tonight. Be a dear and..." She stops, finally looking at me. Really looking? I smile. It doesn't reach my eyes. No, I say simply. The word hangs in the air like a blade. Mum blinks. Excuse me? I said no. I turn back to my laptop, already opening a new browser window. She has her own clothes. She can wear those. Helena Marie Thompson, don't be selfish. You know how important this is. Then buy her a new cardigan. My fingers fly across the keyboard. I'm already pulling up the cryptocurrency exchange I remember launching this year. Bitcoin is $450. I have $3,000 saved from years of birthday money they barely remembered to give me. By the time I'm 18, that $3,000 will be worth $60,000. By 22, over $200,000. Your sister is perfectly capable of managing her own wardrobe. I don't look up. I'm busy. The silence behind me thrums with her shock. She's not used to this. Neither am I, frankly. But Helena 2.0 doesn't break, doesn't bend, doesn't give them an inch. Her heels click away, sharper than usual. Angry. Good. I spend the next 4 hours liquidating my savings account, setting up digital wallets, and making the first of many investments that will reshape my future. Every action is precise, calculated. I'm not gambling. I am playing with marked cards. By midnight, I've restructured my entire academic plan. I know which scholarship opportunities will open next year, which competitions have the most influential judges, which internships lead to real power. The Richardson Science Fellowship, deadline in November. 3 applicants nationally, full ride plus research stipend. The Pemberton Writing Award. I know the judges favour narratives about overcoming adversity. The National Merit Scholarship. I scored in the 97th percentile last time when I wasn't even trying. This time I'll be perfect. I won't waste energy on their approval anymore. I'll build my own empire while they're busy fawning over Victoria's mediocrity. I create a detailed timeline month by month, mapping out every opportunity, every investment, every strategic move. October, submit to Richardson Fellowship. November, begin freelance coding work. December, launch beta website. January, enter state mathematics competition. February, apply for summer internship at tech startup I know will IPO in 3 years. The girl who begged for scraps died in a hospital corridor. I'm done starving. Breakfast the next morning is a masterclass in tension. Dad sits at the head of the table, Victoria to his right in my blue cardigan. Mum gave it to her anyway, raiding my closet while I slept. Victoria's smile is saccharine as she butters her toast. She's wearing my pearl earrings too, the ones grandmother gave me before she died. The only person in this family who ever loved me. Thanks for the sweater, Helena. It's so soft, and I just love these earrings. Before I would have swallowed the hurt. Smiled, said something like, of course, anything for you. Now, I look at her dead-eyed and say, take off my grandmother's earrings, now. The temperature in the room drops 10 degrees. Helena, Mum starts, those were a gift from grandmother to me. She gave them to me 2 weeks before she died. They're not community property. I keep my voice level, but there's steel beneath it. Take them off, Victoria, or I will. Victoria's lower lip trembles. I didn't know they were special. You knew. You always know. I stand, walk around the table and hold out my hand. Now. She removes them with shaking fingers, her eyes welling with tears. The performance is flawless. She's had 16 years to perfect it. Dad's coffee cup slams down. Helena Thompson, what has gotten into you? Clarity, I say, returning to my seat and pocketing the earrings. I'm done pretending boundaries don't exist. We were a family. Are we? I meet his gaze steadily. Because families share. Families consider each other's feelings. Last week, Victoria borrowed my laptop and deleted my college essay draft. 3 weeks of work, gone. 2 weeks before that, she borrowed my interview outfit and returned it with a wine stain. A month ago, she told her friends I was adopted because she was embarrassed to claim me as a sister. Victoria gasps. I never said that. You did. At Jessica's party. I was in the bathroom, and you were right outside telling everyone how tragic it was that your parents felt obligated to keep the charity case. The memory is from my first life, overheard and buried deep, never confronted. You said I was an obligation they couldn't get rid of. The colour drains from Victoria's face. Mum and Dad exchange glances. That's not. I was joking. Victoria stammers. Were you joking when you sabotaged my science fair project in 8th grade? When you told Mum I didn't want to go to Dad's company dinner when I never said that? When you spilled bleach on my prom dress the night before the dance? Each accusation lands like a stone. I have a list, Victoria. 17 years of lies, sabotage and casual cruelty. Want me to keep going? You're being dramatic, Mum says weakly. Am I? I pull out my phone, scroll to a folder I created last night. Screenshots, time-stamped evidence, meticulous documentation of everything I remember. I have dates, witnesses, receipts. Should we go through them together? Silence. That's what I thought. I stand, plate untouched. I'm not eating their food anymore if I can help it. I'll buy my own groceries, keep them in my room. I'm installing a lock on my door today. If anyone breaks it, I'm calling the police and filing a harassment report. We can be civil, or we can be legal. Your choice. Helena Thompson, sit down this instant. Mum's voice cuts like ice. Apologise to your sister. I pause in the doorway, turn, let them see the absolute absence of submission in my posture. No. The word lands like a grenade. I walk out before the explosion. Behind me, chaos erupts. Victoria's theatrical sobbing, Mum's outraged sputtering, Dad's stern demands that I return immediately. I close my bedroom door and begin researching locksmith services. By noon, I have a new deadbolt installed. By 2 p.m, I've set up a mini fridge in my room and stocked it with food I bought with my own money. By evening, I've made my first $200 in cryptocurrency gains. I have empires to build. The next 3 months are a study in invisible warfare. They expect me to crumble, to come crying back, desperate for forgiveness and the scraps of affection they've been rationing my entire life. Instead, I disappear. Not physically, I'm still in the house, eating meals I prepare myself, attending school. But emotionally, socially, I'm a ghost. I stop initiating conversation, stop asking about their days, stop attending Victoria's endless performances and ceremonies. I become a shadow in my own home, visible only when they actively seek me out, which becomes rarer and rarer as weeks pass. Aren't you coming to Victoria's art show? Mum asks one Thursday evening, her tone already defensive. No, I say, not looking up from my laptop. I'm monitoring my cryptocurrency portfolio, up 40% this month. I've also started day trading stocks using knowledge from my future. Companies I know will announce mergers, products that will launch successfully. Every trade is strategic, informed, profitable. She'll be devastated. She has you, that's all she needs. The truth of it, that I was never needed, never wanted, just tolerated, sits between us like a third person. Mum leaves without arguing. I'm becoming too unpredictable, too uncontrollable. Perfect. At school, I stop eating lunch in the cafeteria where Victoria holds court, surrounded by admirers. I find the library's quiet corner and spend the hour coding, building a website, a platform I remember will fill a niche market perfectly in 8 months. It's a peer tutoring platform with AI-assisted matching. By the time I'm 17, it'll be generating passive income. By 18, it'll be profitable enough to move out. The code flows from my fingers like muscle memory. I learned programming in my first life out of desperation, a skill to make me employable, valuable, something. Now it's my weapon. I take every advanced class available, but I stop sharing my grades. When I ace the state mathematics competition, first place, $5,000 prize, I don't mention it at dinner. I deposit the check into my private account and add it to my investment portfolio. When I'm invited to the National Honor Society, I accept silently and forge their signatures on the permission forms. Mrs. Patterson, my guidance counsellor, does a double take when she sees my transcript. Helena, these achievements are remarkable. 4.0 GPA, perfect SAT score, state math champion, NHS member, founder of a tech startup. Have you told your parents? They're busy, I say simply. The pity in her eyes is almost worth it. My phone buzzes constantly. Texts from Mum demanding I run errands for Victoria, pick up her dry cleaning, help with her homework. I leave them on read. When she confronts me, I shrug. I have my own responsibilities. She's your sister, and I'm sure she's capable of handling her own life. She's 17, not 7. The confusion in their faces is intoxicating. They built an entire family dynamic on my compliance, my desperate need for approval. Now that the foundation is gone, the whole structure is starting to crack. Dad tries a different approach one evening in October. Helena, we need to talk. We're concerned about you. You've been distant. I've been focused, I correct. There's a difference. Focused on what? My future, my escape, my revenge. College applications, I say instead. SAT prep, scholarship essays, building my resume, the usual. He nods, relieved to have a comprehensible answer. That's good. That's very good. We expect great things from you. But his attention has already shifted back to Victoria, who's calling from the living room about some crisis with her boyfriend Jordan. They never expected anything from me. They just expected me to fade into the background, supporting Victoria's shine. Now I'm gone, and they're finally noticing the absence. By November, my website has 50 beta users. By December, 200. The revenue starts trickling in. $50 a month, then $200, then $500. It's not much, but it's mine. Built by my hands, my knowledge, my refusal to stay small. I win the Richardson Science Fellowship in December. Full ride to any university, $40,000 annual stipend, research funding. The email comes during dinner. I read it on my phone, allow myself one small smile, and continue eating. What's that? Dad asks absently. Scholarship notification. Oh, that's nice. He turns back to Victoria's story about drama club auditions. They don't ask which scholarship, don't ask the amount, don't ask anything. I used to think their disinterest would kill me. Now I know it's setting me free. It happens on Christmas morning. Victoria opens present after present. Jewellery, designer clothes, a new MacBook Pro, concert tickets to her favourite band, professional art supplies, a weekend spa trip. The pile around her grows mountainous, each gift carefully selected, lovingly wrapped. Mum and Dad beam, recording every squeal of delight on their phones. My corner has 3 presents. A $25 generic Visa gift card. A book I already own. They didn't even check my shelf. Socks with a clearance sticker still attached. Before, this would have shattered me. I would have swallowed the tears, smiled bravely, pretended it didn't matter that they spent literally 30 times more on her than me. I counted once. $3,742 for Victoria's gifts. $87 for mine. Now, I feel nothing but a cold, crystalline clarity. I stand, leaving the unopened gifts on the floor. Helena, Mum's voice is sharp. Where are you going? We're not done. You're not done. I am. I walk to my room, methodical and calm. I pull out the wooden jewellery box they gave me for my 10th birthday. Since you don't have much jewellery anyway. Inside are the few pieces they've given me over the years. Cheap, thoughtless trinkets bought at the last minute, always worth a fraction of what Victoria received. A thin gold chain that turned my neck green. Cubic zirconia earrings when Victoria got real diamonds. A bracelet with my name spelled wrong. Helena instead of Helena. I carry it to the kitchen, empty it into the trash can. Every single piece. The sound of metal hitting the garbage bag is final. Absolute. The death knell of hope. But I'm not done. I return to my room and gather every gift they've ever given me that's still intact. The books they bought without knowing what I liked. The clothes 3 sizes too big because they couldn't remember my measurements. The random trinkets that screamed last-minute obligation. All of it goes into a large box. When I emerge, they're standing in the hallway, all 3 of them. Victoria's eyes are wide, Mum's mouth hangs open, Dad's face is red with anger. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" Dad demands. I set the box down at their feet. "Returning these. I don't want them." "Those were gifts." "No," I say quietly, my voice steady as stone. "Those were obligations fulfilled with minimum effort. Proof of purchase for your consciences. We got her something receipts, so you could tell yourselves you weren't completely neglecting me." "You're being ridiculous," Mum snaps. "Ungrateful." Ungrateful. The laugh that escapes me is hollow. For what? For 16 years of leftovers? For being the backup child, the one you kept around out of obligation? Tell me. When was the last time either of you asked about my day? My friends, my dreams? When was the last time you came to anything of mine without being forced? Silence. I won the state math championship in October. First place, $5,000 prize. Their faces go blank. I was accepted to the National Honor Society in September. Top 2% of students nationally. Nothing. I won the Richardson Science Fellowship 3 weeks ago. Full ride to any university in the country. Do you even know what that is? Dad's jaw works soundlessly. I have a 4.0 GPA. Perfect SAT score. I've been accepted to 3 Ivy League schools for early admission. Each word is a nail in a coffin. And you don't know any of it because you never asked. You never cared. You never once looked at me and saw someone worth knowing. That's not fair, Mum whispers. Fair. My voice doesn't rise, but it cuts. Let me tell you about fair. Fair was being 8 years old and watching Victoria open 30 presents while I got 5. Fair was missing my own birthday dinner because Victoria had a recital. Fair was Dad missing my 8th grade graduation because Victoria had a dentist appointment. Fair was Mum telling me I couldn't have friends over because it would disturb Victoria's studying, while Victoria threw parties every weekend. I pick up the box and shove it into Dad's arms. Fair was spending 16 years begging for scraps of affection from people who should have loved me unconditionally. Fair was realising, finally, that I was never your daughter. I was your obligation, your charity case, the child you kept because abandoning me would make you look bad. Helena. Mum reaches for me. I step back. Don't touch me. Don't pretend you care now that I'm calling you out. You made your choice every single day for 16 years. You chose her every time, every moment, every memory. We love you both, Dad starts. No, you don't. The words are final, absolute. You love Victoria. You tolerate me. And I'm done pretending there's a difference. Victoria, who's been silent until now, lets out a theatrical sob. How can you say that? We're a family. I turn to her, and she flinches at what she sees in my eyes. You're not my family. You're strangers who share a house with me. And in 7 months, when I leave for college, I will never come back. I will never call. I will never visit. I will erase you from my life so completely that in 10 years, when people ask if I have a family, I'll say no. Mom's face crumbles. You don't mean that. I do. I meet her eyes, let her see the truth. I mean every word. You destroyed whatever chance we had at being a family. You can't fix this with tears or apologies or suddenly pretending to care. It's too late. I turn and walk back to my room. This time, when I close the door, I don't hear them follow. I don't hear anything but the sound of my own breathing and the quiet hum of my laptop as I check my investment accounts. Bitcoin, up 47%. Website revenue, $823 this month. Scholarship status, accepted, confirmed, guaranteed. I am free. Or I will be soon. The unravelling begins in February, but its roots were planted months ago. I'm 17 now, turning 18 in September. My cryptocurrency portfolio has grown to $180,000. My website generates $5,000 monthly in passive income. I've been accepted to 3 Ivy League schools with full scholarships, achievements I've shared with no one. I've also been busy planting seeds. In December, I anonymously sent documentation to the SEC about Thomas's embezzlement from Dad's company. Records I remember existed, transactions I knew to look for. The investigation launched quietly, building pressure beneath the surface. In January, I casually mentioned to Patricia's husband at a charity event that she seemed close with the country club president. Just an observation. Just enough to plant doubt. He hired a private investigator 3 days later. Now, in February, everything begins to crack. It starts with Victoria's boyfriend Jordan, the golden boy from a wealthy family, the one she's been flaunting for months. I remember this timeline perfectly. In my first life, I didn't pay attention, too absorbed in my own invisible existence. Now, I watch with clinical precision. Jordan's father's company is about to collapse. Embezzlement scandal, SEC investigation, everything. In 3 months, the family will be ruined. Jordan will panic, dump Victoria to avoid association with poor people, and move to Europe to escape the shame. I don't warn her. Instead, I watch as she plans their future. Engagement rumours, talk of a summer wedding after graduation, choosing China patterns. Mum and Dad encourage it, thrilled their daughter is landing such a catch. When the scandal breaks in March, Jordan's father arrested on live television, assets frozen. It's family name toxic overnight. Victoria's world implodes. Jordan sends a breakup text at 11 p.m. Can't do this anymore. Need to focus on family. Don't contact me. Then he blocks her number. Victoria sobs for 3 days straight. Mum and Dad comfort her, outraged on her behalf, promising she'll find someone better, someone who deserves her. I say nothing. Do nothing. I'm in my room, working on my website's new feature, an AI tutoring assistant that will triple my user base. Aren't you going to comfort your sister? Mum demands when she finds me on day 4. Why? I ask without looking up. She chose him for his money and status. Now that's gone. These are consequences. You're heartless. I'm realistic. I save my code and finally look at her. She'll survive. She always does. She has you to cushion every fall, unlike some people. The barb lands. Mum leaves without another word. But Victoria's fall is just beginning. In April, a student at her school recognises her art portfolio from an online artist's Instagram. The pieces Victoria claimed as her own were stolen, traced, barely modified. The student reports it. The investigation is swift, thorough, brutal. Victoria swears she didn't know, that a friend helped her, that it was a misunderstanding. But the evidence is overwhelming. 12 pieces, all plagiarised, submitted over 2 years. She's suspended. Her college applications are flagged. 3 schools rescind their acceptances. Her reputation shreds like tissue paper. Mum and Dad scramble to defend her, hire lawyers, threaten the school. But there's nothing to fight. The evidence is digital, time-stamped, irrefutable. I watch from the sidelines as her carefully constructed perfect life collapses like a house of cards. Then comes May, and Dad's reckoning arrives. Thomas's embezzlement case breaks wide open. The SEC investigation I accelerated reveals not just Thomas's crimes, but Dad's negligence. He should have known, should have caught it, should have had better oversight. The company hemorrhages money. Investors flee, stock prices crater. But I'm not done. I make another anonymous tip to the Consumer Safety Board. Documentation about the faulty product I remember will cause a massive recall. Internal emails showing Dad ignored safety concerns to save money. Patterns of negligence that can't be explained away. The investigation launches immediately. The recall happens faster, harder, more publicly than in my original timeline. Major news coverage, congressional hearings, criminal negligence allegations. Dad's company doesn't just stumble. It collapses entirely. And suddenly, the Thompson family isn't wealthy anymore. They're drowning. The house goes on the market. The 5-bedroom showcase they used for entertaining, for impressing, for proving their worth. Victoria's private school tuition can't be paid. She finishes senior year at public school, humiliated. The country club membership is cancelled. Mum's designer wardrobe starts appearing on consignment sites. I watch them scramble, panic, fight with the lawyers and accountants and creditors. They never planned for this, never saved properly. They spent everything on maintaining appearances, on spoiling Victoria, on being envied by people who are now whispering behind their backs. Now, the facade is crumbling, and there's nothing underneath but debt and desperation. Patricia's affair breaks in June. Photographs, hotel receipts, everything. The scandal rocks their social circle. Mum's best friend, exposed and humiliated, moves to another state. Mum loses half her friends in the fallout, everyone choosing sides, whispering about who knew what and when. Their carefully constructed social empire turns to ash. "Helena, we need to talk about college," Dad says one evening in late June. His voice is defeated, aged 10 years and 6 months. "With everything happening, we can't afford to help you." "I know," I say calmly, not looking up from my laptop. "I've handled it." His head snaps up. "What?" "Full scholarship to Cornell. Room, board, books, stipend, everything covered. I leave in August." Mum appears in the doorway, her face pale and drawn. "You never told us you applied. You never asked." The weight of that truth crushes the remaining air from the room. "How did you—" Dad trails off, looking at me like I'm a stranger. Because I am. The daughter they thought they knew, desperate, needy, eager to please, never existed. She was a survival mechanism, a mask worn by a child who had no other options. Now, I have options. Power. Freedom. "I've been planning this for 2 years," I say. "I have savings, investments, income streams. My website generates enough passive income to cover living expenses. I have a summer internship at a tech startup in Silicon Valley that pays $35 an hour. I'll be financially independent by the end of summer." "What investments?" Mum's voice is faint. "What website? The ones I built while you were busy with Victoria." I finally look at them, let them see what they created. I used my birthday money, the money you barely remembered to give me. $3,000 total over 16 years. I turned it into $200,000. Dad's face goes white. That's not possible. It is when you understand cryptocurrency, stock trading, and market trends. It is when you spend every evening learning instead of begging for attention. I stand, collecting my laptop. It is when you're invisible enough that no one notices you're building an empire. "Helena." Mum reaches for me, her hand shaking. I step back. "Don't. You don't get to touch me now. You don't get to be proud now. You don't get to claim any part of who I've become. We're your parents. You're the people who fed and housed me. There's a difference." I head toward my room, then pause. I'm leaving for California on Monday. I've already moved most of my things. I'll be back for 2 weeks in August before college starts, and then I'll be gone. Permanently. You'll visit, Dad starts. No! The finality stops them cold. I close my door for the second to last time. Graduation day arrives in late May, a week before I leave for California. I'm valedictorian, another achievement they didn't know about because they stopped attending school events years ago. They stopped asking, stopped caring, or maybe they never started. Victoria didn't even graduate on time. She's taking summer courses to make up for the plagiarism suspension, her diploma delayed, her future uncertain. I stand at the podium in my cap and gown, looking out at the crowd of families celebrating their children. Mum and Dad are in the back row, looking diminished. Smaller, somehow. The weight of their failures has bent them into shadows of who they were. My speech isn't about them. It's about resilience, about building yourself from nothing, about the power of self-reliance and the strength found in silence, about how sometimes the people who should love you won't, and how you survive anyway, how you thrive anyway. Every word is a brick in the wall between us. The audience applauds. Parents cry proud tears. I accept my diploma, shake hands with administrators who actually know my name and my achievements, and step off the stage into a future I built with my own hands. After the ceremony, Mum and Dad approach cautiously, strangers trying to connect with a daughter who's already gone. Helena, that speech was impressive, Dad says, his voice uncertain. We're proud. Are you? I tilt my head, studying them with clinical detachment. Proud of the daughter you ignored for 17 years. Proud of achievements you never witnessed. Or are you just relieved I turned out fine despite your neglect? Mum flinches. That's not fair. Fair? The word tastes like poison. Let me tell you about fair. Fair was being 8 years old and watching Victoria open 37 presents while I got 5. Fair was missing my own birthday dinner because Victoria had a recital, not even a performance, just a practice. Fair was Dad missing my graduation from 8th grade because Victoria had a dentist appointment. Fair was Mum telling me I couldn't invite friends over because it might disturb Victoria, while Victoria threw parties every weekend that I had to clean up after. I step closer, let them feel the weight of 17 years of silence breaking open. Fair was begging for help with homework and being told you were too busy. Fair was making put on a roll every semester and never once hearing you say you were proud. Fair was winning competitions, earning scholarships, building something from nothing, and having no one notice. Fair was dying alone in a hospital. I stop, almost said too much. Their faces are white, confused. What are you talking about? Mum whispers, but I don't explain. They wouldn't understand, couldn't comprehend that somewhere in another timeline, another life, I died unloved and forgotten while they celebrated the daughter they chose. I'm leaving, I say instead. Monday morning, 6 a.m, I have a flight to California. I have an internship starting Tuesday. I won't be back except to collect the last of my things before college. But you'll visit? No. You'll call? No. Helena, please. Dad's voice cracks, and for the first time in my memory, he sounds genuinely desperate. We know we made mistakes. We can fix this. You can't. I hoist my bag onto my shoulder, the diploma inside worth more than every gift they ever gave me. You spent 17 years building a family that didn't include me. You made your choice every single day. Every birthday, every holiday, every moment I needed you, and you chose her instead. Now, I've made mine. We're your parents, Mom's voice breaks. You're the people who raised me. There's a difference. I pause, letting the truth settle like concrete. Parents love their children, care about them, notice when they're hurting, celebrate their victories, show up. You did that for Victoria, never for me. That's not true, Mum protests, but her voice is hollow. She knows. They both know. I'm not angry anymore, I say, and it's true. The rage that sustained me has crystallized into something colder, cleaner, harder than diamond. I'm just done trying to earn love that should have been freely given. Done shrinking myself to fit into spaces you never made for me. Done existing in your peripheral vision while you stared directly at her. I turn to leave, then pause one final time. For what it's worth, I hope you figure out how to be better parents to Victoria. She's the daughter you wanted, the one you chose every single day for 17 years. Maybe now that there's no one else to compare her to, you'll finally see her clearly too. See that you destroyed her with your indulgence, the same way you destroyed me with your neglect. Victoria stands 20 feet away, her face blotchy with tears, her cap askew. For just a moment, I feel something like pity. She's as much a victim of their parenting as I am, just from the opposite direction. They made her weak, dependent, unable to function without constant validation. They made me strong by forcing me to survive alone. We're both casualties of their failures. The difference is, I learned to thrive without them. Goodbye, I say to all three of them. I walk away, and this time, I don't look back. Behind me, I hear Mum's broken sob, Dad's attempt at consolation, Victoria's quiet hiccuping gasps, the sound of their world ending, but I feel nothing except the sun on my face and the weight of my future pressing forward, bright and untouchable, and entirely mine, 3 years later. I'm in my corner office in Manhattan, 21 years old, founder and CEO of a tech startup valued at $12 million. My cryptocurrency investments have made me independently wealthy, portfolio worth over $2 million now. I've been featured in Forbes 30 Under 30, TechCrunch's Rising Stars, and Business Insider's Innovators to Watch. My tutoring platform expanded into a full educational ecosystem with AI-powered learning connecting students globally. We have 2 million users across 40 countries. I have a team of 30 employees, partnerships with major universities, and venture capitalists begging to invest. My life is exactly what I built it to be. Brick by brick, line of code by line of code, decision by strategic decision. My phone rings during a late meeting. Unknown number. I almost don't answer. I never answer unknown numbers. But something makes me pick up. Hello? Helena. Mum's voice is aged, weathered, barely recognisable. Please don't hang up. I should. The old Helena would have savoured this. The power reversal, the satisfaction of withholding what they once denied me. But I'm tired of carrying them, even in absence. What do you want? To apologise. Her voice breaks, fractures like old glass. To tell you we were wrong. About everything. We see it now. We saw it too late, but we see it. I lean back in my ergonomic chair. $1,200, bought with my own money, and watch the city lights flicker below my 30th floor window. Below me, millions of people are living their lives, building their dreams, making their mistakes. I'm one of them now, untethered from the past. Okay. Silence stretches. I can hear her breathing, ragged and uncertain. Is that all you're going to say? What do you want me to say? I keep my voice neutral, professional, the same tone I use with difficult clients. That's, I forgive you, that we can start over. We can't. You can't give me back those 17 years. You can't undo the person you forced me to become. We know, but maybe we could try. No, the word is gentle but absolute, final as a door closing. I'm not the daughter who needed you anymore. I'm not even angry, I'm just indifferent. You're strangers who share my DNA. That's all you'll ever be. Helena, please. Her voice cracks completely. Victoria is struggling. She dropped out of community college. She can't hold a job. She's depressed. And the therapist says it's because we never taught her resilience. Never let her fail. Never treated her like a real person, I finish. You treated her like a trophy, a doll to dress up and show off, and now she doesn't know how to be human. Yes. The admission is a whisper. And you turned out so strong, so successful. We see now that we... Don't. My voice hardens. Don't you dare try to compliment me for surviving your neglect. Don't try to make my success about your parenting. You didn't make me strong. You made me alone. I made myself strong despite you. I know. But maybe you could talk to Victoria? Maybe you could help her? I laugh, and it's not kind. Why would I do that? When I needed help, where were you? Where was she? When I was drowning, did anyone throw me a rope? Or did you all just watch me sink and then complain that I got the floor wet? Silence. I hope you find peace, Mum. I really do. I hope you and Dad figure out how to live with your choices. I hope Victoria gets the help she needs and builds a life that doesn't depend on being worshipped. But I can't help you do that. I won't. You're really never coming back. It's not a question. I was never really there to begin with, I say quietly. You just noticed too late. Your father had a heart attack last month. The information lands without impact. I search myself for feeling, concern, fear, sadness, and find only a mild curiosity. Is he alive? Yes, but the doctor says stress is killing him. The business failure, losing the house, everything with Victoria. Those are consequences, I interrupt, of his choices, his negligence, his priorities. I'm sorry he's suffering, but I didn't cause this. He did. He wants to see you before... No. Firmer now. I'm not a deathbed absolution. I'm not a redemption arc for his guilt. He made his choices for 17 years. Now he lives with them. Or doesn't. Either way, it's not my responsibility. You're so cold. I am so free, I correct. There's a difference. I spent 17 years being cold and lonely in a house full of people. Now I'm warm in my solitude. Now I choose who gets access to me, and I choose people who actually see me, value me, love me. Do you have anyone? She sounds genuinely curious now beneath the pain. I have friends, colleagues, a mentor who believed in me when it mattered, a community I built, a boyfriend who thinks I hung the moon. Daniel, met him at a tech conference, brilliant programmer, kind eyes, family who welcomed me like I'd always belonged. I have everything I need, everything I built myself. I'm glad, Mum whispers, and she sounds like she means it. I'm glad you're happy. Are you? No, the honesty is stark. We lost everything. The house, the money, our friends. Victoria can barely function. Your father is sick. And you, the daughter we ignored, you're thriving, and we can't even claim any part of it. No, I agree, you can't. I'm sorry, Helena, for all of it, for not seeing you, for not loving you the way you deserved, for choosing her every time when we should have had room for both of you. The apology sits between us, too late to matter, too small to bridge the gap. Thank you for saying that, I say finally. I mean it. It must have been hard to call. It was, but it doesn't change anything. You understand that, right? I do. She sounds defeated, hollowed out. Can I ask one thing? Maybe. Are you happy? Really happy? I think about my apartment, small but mine, filled with books I chose and art I love. I think about my team, brilliant people who respect me. I think about Daniel, who listens when I talk, who notices when I'm quiet, who shows up. I think about my bank account, my independence, my freedom to choose every single aspect of my life. I think about the girl who died in a hospital corridor, alone and unloved, believing she was unworthy of anything better. Yes, I say, I'm happy, not because of you, not despite you, just independent of you. You're not part of my story anymore, you're backstory. Prologue, the part readers skip to get to the good parts. I understand. Her voice is barely audible. Goodbye, Helena. Goodbye. I hang up before she can say anything else. The phone doesn't ring again. I sit for a long moment, waiting to feel something. Grief, anger, satisfaction, anything. But there's only a quiet, settled peace. The kind of peace that comes after a storm, when the damage is assessed and you realise you're still standing. I stand and walk to the window, pressing my palm against the cool glass. Below, the city thrums with life. Millions of people building, breaking, loving, leaving, creating their own stories, their own meanings, their own versions of family. I am one of them now, untethered, undefined by their neglect. My reflection in the window shows a woman I barely recognise from that 16-year-old girl. Confident, successful, loved. But beneath the surface, I see her too. The child who begged for crumbs, who died alone, who was reborn in fury and determination. She made me possible. The girl who died in a hospital corridor begging for love is finally at rest. In her place stands someone who learned the hardest truth. You cannot make people love you. You cannot earn affection that should be given freely. You cannot fill the void they created by diminishing yourself. But you can survive it, transcend it, build a life so full, so luminous, so completely yours that their absence becomes irrelevant. I am Helena Thompson. I am the daughter they didn't want, the child they couldn't see, the woman they'll never know. And I am finally, devastatingly, triumphantly free. My phone buzzes with a text from Daniel. Dinner at 8? Want to celebrate your tech crunch feature properly? I smile, a real smile, the kind that reaches my eyes, the kind I never had in that house. Perfect. I'll bring champagne. The city lights blur for just a moment. Not tears, just the weight of transformation settling into my bones one final time. Pain has become power. Rejection has become self-reliance. The emptiness they carved into me has been filled with something far stronger than their love could ever have been. Purpose, pride, peace, and the unshakable knowledge that I am enough. I always was. I turn from the window and gather my things. There's a celebration waiting, a life to live, a future to build, a man who loves me waiting at a restaurant, ready to toast my success, to see me, to choose me. Every single day, I walk out of my office, locking the door behind me. The name on the frosted glass reads, Helena Thompson, CEO and founder. Not their daughter, not Victoria's sister, just me, exactly as I was always meant to be. And that, more than any revenge, more than any apology, more than any reconciliation, is the truest victory of all. I don't need their love anymore. I never will again.